Hey folks, how's it going? Realm Gaming here, Aatrox guide in under 5 minutes. Pros and cons. Pros. He can snowball very quickly. He is also a very mobile champion thanks to RE. And he is also a very lane-friendly champion due to his great sustain. Some of his weaknesses is he does suffer from long cooldowns. He does not scale as well late into the game, so he's more of an early mid-game champion. And then he's not a very easy champion to learn. Okay, reading over abilities here, we have his Q, the Darkened Blade. Aatrox slams his greatsword, dealing 210 physical damage. If they're hit on the edge, they are briefly knocked up, and they take 336 damage instead. This ability can be recast twice, each one changing shape and dealing 25% more damage than the previous one. So each cast of this ability is going to have a sweet spot, which is highlighted in white. If you hit the enemy in that sweet spot, they will be knocked up. So for example, sweet spot in the white, sweet spot in the white, and then on the third cast, right in the middle. Up next, we have his W Infernal Chains. Aatrox fires a chain, slowing the first enemy hit by 35% for 1.5 seconds, dealing 140 magic damage. Champions and large jungle monsters have a 1.5 seconds to leave the impact area or be pulled back to the center and damaged again for the same amount. So what this works is we'll cast our W in this box. If the enemy does not get out of that box within 1.5 seconds, they're pulled back to the center of that box. Up next, we have Aatrox's E Umbral Dash. His passive, Aatrox heals for 24% of the damage he deals to champions. This is going to be increased during our ultimate to 36%. His active is just simply a dash. One thing you can do is you can use this E to position our Q. Then finally, we have our ultimate World Ender. Aatrox reveals his true demonic form, fearing nearby minions for 3 seconds and gaining 100% movement speed, decaying over 10 seconds. He also gains 45% attack damage and increases self-healing by 45% of the duration. Champion takedowns extend this duration by 5 seconds, and it refreshes the move speed effect. So while Aatrox does have a lot of passive healing, right, when he does pop his ultimate, he gets even more self-healing. So see what this looks like. Let's pop it. You can see it does the AoE for the fear, and he kind of goes into this sort of ascended form. So typically Aatrox's combos are going to revolve around using his E on his third Q to secure that third Q damage. So your first 2 Qs, right, they're going to have sort of a range on them, and then your third Q is the white spot in the center, so you're going to have to kind of close the gap to get into that sweet spot. So taking a look at this, right, we can Q, 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 E, using the E there at the end, again, to close that gap. So for core items, we're going to have Profane Hydra, Plated Steel Caps, and Edge of Night. So you'll be building these items every game. Then the full build's typically going to be the Grudge, the Aatrox Gauge, and Guardian Angel. Then for situational items, we have the Maw, the Sundered Sky, the Spear of Shojin, the Death's Dance, Eclipse, and Kimpunk Chainsword. Then our ability order is going to be Q into E and finally into W. Then our passive here is Deathbringer Stance. So Aatrox's attacks deal an additional 12% max health magic damage, and it restores 80% of damage dealt as health. And this is reduced to 25% against minions. Now then the second part of the passive effect here is attack and ability hits against champions and large jungle monsters. Reduce this effect's cooldown by 2 seconds. Hits with the edge of the Darkened Blade reduce it by 4 seconds instead. So in lane, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to play around this passive as much as we can. When the passive's up, be looking for trades. Also, when trading, remember that you can use your dash ability to reposition the Darkened Blade and where it lands. Remember to play safe at level 1 and then look to play aggressive from levels 2 to 6. You're going to be an early game dominant champion, so you want to make sure that you play aggressively early on. For the late game, you're going to want to play around your ultimate World Ender. You do not want to be fighting at all when this ultimate is on cooldown, as this is going to be your sustain. That is Aatrox's strength, is his sustain. So your ultimate is going to be absolutely core to your late game success. Now you do fall off a bit in the late game. You're probably more of an average champion. However, you can still take down carries as long as you can stick to them.